Title: The Golden Rule of Honesty. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a young boy named Ben. Ben was known for being clever, but he had one little flaw: he wasn't always truthful. Sometimes he would stretch the truth to make himself seem more impressive, or avoid getting into trouble by telling a little lie. One day, Ben's teacher, Mr. Thompson, announced an upcoming school project. "Everyone," Mr. Thompson said, "you'll be presenting a story to the class. It should be about something important to you. The best story will win a prize, a golden star." Ben's eyes lit up at the thought of the shiny golden star. He was determined to win. The days flew by, and Ben worked hard on his story. But as he wrote, he found himself getting stuck. His story was about a grand adventure he'd had, exploring a hidden cave in the forest. But it wasn't entirely true. He had heard about the cave from older kids, but he had never actually gone there himself. Ben thought, "If I tell everyone about the cave, they'll be impressed. No one will know it's not real." On the day of the presentations, Ben stood nervously in front of the class. He began his story, describing the mysterious cave and the sparkling jewels he had supposedly found inside. His classmates were amazed. Mr. Thompson looked intrigued as well. But then, something strange happened. As Ben continued his story, he began to feel uncomfortable. The words felt hollow, and a tight knot formed in his stomach. The lies, which had seemed harmless at first, now felt heavy. He glanced at his classmates' faces, and he noticed something. There was no excitement in their eyes. They were listening, but not with the same wonder he had expected. Ben reached the part where he said he had found a glowing gemstone, and he froze. It was then that he realized something important. His story wasn't making anyone feel good. It wasn't making them believe in the magic of the cave. It was just making them wonder if he was telling the truth. Mr. Thompson smiled gently. "That's a very creative story, Ben," he said, "but I think you've been a little too generous with your imagination. Remember, the most important part of any story is honesty." Ben felt a wave of embarrassment wash over him. He took a deep breath, his heart racing. "Actually," he began, "I made up a lot of that. There's no cave, and I never found any jewels. I just wanted to tell a great story, but now I realize I should have told the truth." Mr. Thompson nodded. "Thank you for being honest, Ben. That takes a lot of courage." The class was quiet for a moment, and then one of Ben's friends, Emma, raised her hand. "I think that was a great story, Ben. Maybe you could tell us about an adventure you actually had." Ben smiled, feeling a sense of relief. "I guess I could tell you about the time I went hiking with my dad. It wasn't anything magical, but it was real." And so, Ben shared a true story about a beautiful day spent with his father, walking through the woods and finding a small stream. It wasn't as exciting as the cave, but it was honest, and it made his classmates smile. Ben realized that being truthful didn't make him less interesting. In fact, it made people trust him more. From that day on, Ben learned that honesty was more valuable than any grand adventure. And when he stood up to speak, he always remembered the golden rule. Being truthful makes you shine brighter than any made-up story ever could. The end.